the addition table of 2 Peter, the first chapter, add to your faith virtue, and virtue knowledge, and. And so it's progressive. We know that. So we've been progressing all these 32 years here, and all these 50 years that Brother Jolly has been pastoring the church in El Dorado all of this particular time. And I began to explore, particularly since word study. And Brother Jolly, it just happens that right now our people in Dawson Springs are having a fit over a certain word. And that word is the key, K-E-Y. It's only mentioned 8 times. When I was listening to the tape the other day, you're talking 2 weeks ago on the 17th day of this month about the keys to the different key words and key scriptures and key books in the Bible, and key personages and personalities and key conditions and key movements and all these different things. And we got on that with only 8 words, 8 times that the word appears in the Bible, and yet you can just run that for years when you begin to consider this is another key meeting right now. There's just this local meeting here on a Wednesday night here. Every one of this is another step on the preparation, of course, and continuation as to our progress toward the final end of perfection, which we're working on. And I got thinking about that, and then I got thinking, Brother Jolly, it's because you have really stimulated us to use our mind, our soul, our heart like never before and that I've ever known in all the years that I've been here. I looked another word up, A-L-L. And I used that as a word study 2 weeks ago, and I said, well, I'll look that up. I said it's mentioned 5,428 times in the Bible, the word all. And I said, no, I'm not going to ask you to look up all the scriptures on that 5,000 words, but you might be surprised at the tremendous significance of that word all. And then it dawned on me something else. I began to think about a song we sing, you know, the song, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and in all your ways acknowledge Him, and lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him. I got hold of that word about a year ago, and I began to consider and began to talk about it. The fact that when I thought of in all your ways acknowledge Him, and I thought, Garrettson, you're missing the boat. You're so far from where you should be. When you start to make a self-analysis, which we're supposed to do, and searching ourselves to find out the flaws and the weak places, the dirty places and all that, I said, in all your ways acknowledge Him. When I am sitting reading in the morning sometime, and I get up, maybe I walk to the refrigerator. All my ways, did I ask the Lord if it's necessary for me to go and get a nice little juicy something or other out of that icebox? Pick up the telephone. Lord, is this convenient for me to make this call particularly right now? Why don't I think about it and ask, Lord, maybe that person I'm going to talk to or think I'm going to talk to is busy. Maybe he's reading the Bible or she's reading the Bible or something of the sort. And I got to get up. I think I'll get up and get in the car and go hither and go yon or something of the sort. In all my ways acknowledge Him. I began to analyze that. And I found out, my goodness sakes, if I can really shell down the corn, as the expression goes, to analyze that word right there, in all your ways acknowledge Him. Well, I guess I'm not going to talk for you. I'm not supposed to do that, but I found out that I've got an awful lot of more introspection to make to find out whether or not that I am really developing and really amounting to anything and really maturing and really growing up. And so when you follow all these different little words in the Bible here and detect how vitally important so many of them are, and that's why that I am so thankful and so grateful for what Brother Jolly has done for us, and in my own particular case, how that he has tutored me and guided me, and how thankful that I am that I have tried in my weak way to hold his hands up continually these 32 years, and I've watched him under all kinds of pressure, and to think that here I am back in the Gospel Assembly Church, my mother, my alma mater. Alma mater. You know, that's what people say when they go to college. They're going back for their reunion. So I'm back to my alma mater, and so glad to get back here. And however, when I consider the condition of our dear brother here, I'm not talking out of turn, I don't think, when I say this, but Brother Jolly, somebody told me, one of the brothers told me, that you actually prayed for about 10 people this weekend. Is that right? That you actually prayed for 10 people? Something like that? And some of them were saying, my goodness, whew, kind of worried. Well, sure you were. You love the man like I love him. Why, sure you do. You're worried about it, but you don't need to worry about that man. Like God in heaven. He's born to preach. He's born to teach. He's born to exhort. He's born to help. He's born to do what he's doing. And I see something. I can't help it. I'm not, there's original authority that only God has, and delegated authority, and there's assumed authority. So I'm not assuming any authority around here, but I know I can say this very optimistically, that what is happening, God knows what he's doing, and all things work for good for them that love the Lord. And I think that, and I know that we had our church on our knees a while back. I keep in very close touch with Sister Donna on the phone just about every day or every other day. How is Bro.Jolly? How is he doing? And she'll tell me. 4 hours, and then maybe an hour and a half, I think Sunday, wasn't it? About 4 hours on Saturday night, 4 hours Sunday night. And so you know what I'm doing right now, don't you? I've just been talking to the tape department. I said, you got those tapes for me? I got to have them. I said, I'll have them for you right after service, Hal. You said you'd put it by the door, didn't you? And you see, what I told you, that the folks are just absolutely having a fit back there on this, that came right out of this pulpit here when Bro.Jolly was, he's done it before, but he talked about the keys. The key man, the key scripture, all the different characters in the Bible being the key man for a key time, for a certain specific time, for things had to be done for God. And then when Brother Sowders came up, the key man for that time. Now Bro.Jolly with the perfection, the restoring of the church here that Brother Sowders started back there. Of course, we see all of that, but I tell you, the people are rising to their feet. And Sunday night we had a testimony meeting where the folks, I didn't say a word. I didn't have to, and I'm glad I didn't, because we wouldn't have heard what we heard, how that the people are investigating using the word key, even though it's only mentioned 8 times in the entire Bible. It's keys, I think, 6 times, and twice is K-E-Y. But when you get down to the real meaning of what it really means, the key words, and the key verses, and the key scriptures, and the key books of the Bible, and then the key personages, and the key, all these key things that have happened. This is the 50th anniversary, the golden anniversary of Bro.Jolly's ministry over in El Dorado. You talk about a key, a golden anniversary, 50 years in El Dorado of his labor in that place. And Bro.Jolly, I heard this. Probably you've heard it by now. I'm sure that you have. I wish I had been there last Thursday. I tried to get there regularly, but they tell me they went over the top last Thursday with 3 outstanding blessings. Well, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they, after what you've done over there? And that has to be that way. They just got to be. The people that have stayed loyal to you, and you've stayed loyal to them all these different years, all these many, many years. And so I see that out of this that's coming, something glorious and wonderful is happening. And Bro.Jolly has been working, laboring with us ministers for years, trying to get us to harmonize, to work together. And I guess we're all memorizing 1 Corinthians 1:10 as never before. I beseech you, brethren, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, that you all speak the same thing, that there be no divisions among you, that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment. Bro.Jolly, I believe that it's coming to pass. It is coming to pass. I mean, it's actually coming into view, is the fact that I, as a minister, I need not only you, I've had to have you all these years as my father. My own dad, my natural father, was killed on horseback when I was 8 years of age. But there's the father that I've had now for these last 32 years is what counts and has counted, because it's our soul that's at stake, of course. That's what we're here for. I know that. And so I look at this, that we have something wonderful is coming out of this. And these key experiences we've had in 1965 and in 1953, when so many people didn't want to improve, didn't want to brush up, didn't want to change for the better, didn't want to study, didn't want to read, didn't want to change their manners for better, didn't want to take public speaking classes. But you stayed on the job. You folks stayed here. My, I'm thankful that I was a part of this in the small way that I was, and I thank you so much for your prayers from time to time when I've been incapacitated. But Bro.Jolly, bless his heart, I tell you, I don't know, I'm not too, what do you call it, effusive or too demonstrative somehow or other, but Bro.Jolly, if you could feel how I have felt all the time, all of us men feel the same way. And we're getting to the point, Brother Jolly, as a tribute to your ministry, that we literally, definitely, strictly need each other. We just need each other. And we quote each other constantly. Someone said one time that